Hey guys, my name is Manish Arora. Welcome to Urban Acharya. I'm back again with an interesting topic for this video, and that topic is how to give a feedback to your boss or your manager. Let me ask you a simple question first. Have you ever given any feedback to your manager, especially in the situation where you were unhappy with your assessments, with the behavior of your manager, with the extra workload on you, or too much of delegation of tasks to you, or your manager's style of working? Have you given that feedback ever in the past? The chances are no. Well, there's nothing wrong with it, but I'll tell you two main reasons for it. Number one, you must have given up on the person and maybe thinking about leaving the job, finding out another opportunity outside the organization, which is a pretty common scenario. Number two, you know it well that nothing will change even if you gave that feedback to your manager. And this whole 360-degree feedback is all fluff, nothing comes out of it, it's only for policy's sake. You're not wrong in your thought process. And then there is third reason too. And that reason is you know that giving feedback to your manager or your boss will not go down well with him or her. Because your boss will take revenge on you if you try to give that feedback. Your boss may try to blame you back, explaining that he's right or she's right, always, and it's all your fault. Well, in my 2 decades of experience with the corporate world, very rarely I've come across leaders who actively seek feedback for their own improvements. There are exceptions, there are some great people in the organization that I've met. But for the majority, I have not seen them actively seeking feedback, especially people in the middle management or who are just promoted to be a manager. In today's video, I will discuss about this genuine problem that employees face, and that is how to give feedback to your manager or to your boss. But before we deep dive into this subject, you need to understand that your nature of relationship with your manager plays a very important role in this game. There are 3 scenarios. Number 1, let's say you have a great relationship with your manager and your manager is pretty chilled out person, and both of you often hang out for a coffee or a short break between meetings. Both of you are like friends. Now let's talk about the second scenario. You have a good relationship with your manager, with your boss, but it is limited to only office interactions. During meetings or when there are work-related conversations, they happen very rarely beyond office hours, but nothing more than that. Your interactions are very limited to only work-related stuff, nothing beyond that. And let's talk about the third scenario. Your manager or your boss is a difficult person. You have a very light working relationship with him or her. Your manager is very demanding and he or she is extremely focused on giving feedback all the time. She or he has created an atmosphere of fear leading to toxic culture. Now, in the first 2 scenarios, it may be a bit easier to give a feedback, but in the third scenario, it's going to be very difficult to give feedback because such managers, such bosses are very insecure, and while they are prompt in giving feedback to you, they're not going to be open for any feedback for them. They believe they don't have any flaw and they're always right. Now, a $1 million question. Should you give feedback to your manager or to your boss, especially about his or her areas of improvement? Think about it. What you have to understand is that giving feedback to your manager is not always an easy task. But at the same time, it is very crucial for your professional growth and development. It can help you improve your work environment and relationship with your manager. In any case, if you are going through tough times due to the leadership style of working or your manager or your boss, you should plan to give that feedback. Don't give up so easily. And remember, unless you give a feedback, things won't change. So you have 2 choices. Either you keep quiet and suffer, or stand up for your self-respect and give a feedback. And I understand it well that you will think about your own job insecurities or the damage it may have on your career, etc. But there's nothing to worry here. These are all baseless overthinking challenges. In your mind, you have to be clear that this is for the benefit of both of you. You want to work in this team, you like this organization, and you want to stick to it for some more time, and you want things to work out between you and your manager. It's an effort from your side to make things work, and that's a very constructive, positive area. But there's a method to it. There has to be a structure to it. You can't just, stand up one fine day or wake up one fine day and blurt out your feedback to your manager. That's not the way it has to be done. Let me share some perspective and tips to help you out with that. The first tip I would like to give to all of you is to choose a good time and place to give feedback. Timing is very crucial when it comes to feedback. You want to make sure that your manager is not too busy or stressed out and can give you full attention. It's also important to choose a location where you can have a private conversation without distractions. This could be a meeting room or any other quiet place where you can talk openly with your manager. Next, be specific about the feedback you want to provide. Give examples of specific situations where your manager behavior or actions have affected you or your work. Try to avoid vague language and instead use concrete examples that can help your manager understand the issue better. This will help your manager see the impact of his or her actions on you and your work, and they can take the necessary steps, corrective steps to address it. When providing feedback, it is essential to be objective. That's the next one. Try to stay calm and avoid using accusatory or negative language. Focus on the facts and explain how your manager's actions or behaviors have affected you. Offering possible solutions or suggestions can also be very helpful. That's the next one. Be prepared to work in a collaborative way with your manager to find a solution that works for both of you. Remember that feedback is a two-way street and your manager may have some suggestions for you as well. So be open for it. Active listening is another important aspect of giving a feedback. Make sure to listen carefully to your manager's response to your feedback. Give him or her a chance to respond and be open to his or her perspective. Active listening can help you foster a positive and very collaborative work environment. Finally, the last one is a follow-up after the conversation to see if any progress has been made. If no progress has been made, be prepared to have a follow-up conversation and continue to provide feedback until a solution is found. So to finally summarize, giving feedback to your manager can be challenging and also stressful, but it is an essential part of the professional growth and development. By following some of these tips, you can provide feedback effectively and collaboratively, which can foster a very strong, positive and productive environment. Remember, be specific, be objective, and offer solutions, listening actively to the responses from your manager. That's about it for today's video. I hope you liked that video, and if you do, please do share, like, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.